Hello students, we are studying set theory. In the last class we have studied various operations on the sets, which includes union of sets, intersection of sets. We have also studied universal set, difference set and complement of a set. Now in the today's class we are going to study Cartesian product of sets, relations, functions, equivalent sets and compositions. So let us begin with Cartesian product of sets. If A and B are two sets, then the set of all ordered pairs ordered pair A, B, where the first member in each ordered pair, small a, belongs to the set A, and second member in each ordered pair, small b, belongs to capital B, is called as the Cartesian product of A and B taken in the order A cross B. So like such the Cartesian product is denoted. Okay, is called as the Cartesian product A cross B, and in symbols we write this as A cross B, means the Cartesian product of A and B taken in this order. It is equal to the set of all ordered pairs A, B, where A belongs to A and B belongs to B. So like such the Cartesian product of two sets is defined. Now from this definition it is clear that if at least one of A or B is empty, then definitely the Cartesian product A cross B will be the empty set. And again, if the number of elements in the set A, if it is equal to K, and number of elements in the set B, if it is equal to M, then the number of elements in their Cartesian product A cross B is equal to K into M. And this K into M number of ordered pairs will be there in the Cartesian product A cross B. We will consider one example of the Cartesian product. Let us suppose that we have the set A, and set A is consisting of three elements X, Y, Z. And suppose we have the another set, and that set is suppose B. Suppose it consists of elements P and Q. Then we can form the ordered pairs such as X, P, X, Q, Y, P, Y, Q, and finally Z, P, Z, Q. Okay, so if we list out all such ordered pairs, then the set of those ordered pairs will be X, P, X, Q, then Y, P, Y, Q, then Z, P, and lastly Z, Q. And this set is nothing but it is our Cartesian product A cross B. So like such the Cartesian product is defined. Okay, and from this example also it is clear that here the set A was having 3 members and set B was having 2 members. So 3 into 2 means 6. So therefore the Cartesian product A cross B is with 6 ordered pairs which are listed here. Next one is the relation between two sets, or relation from one set to the other set. So if we have a subset of the Cartesian product A cross B, then it is called as a relation from set A to set B. A subset of Cartesian product A cross B is known as the relation from set A to set B, relation from A to B. It is known as the relation from A to B. Okay. So, if that relation is denoted by R, then we can say that R is a subset of A cross B. Then we say that R is a subset of A cross B. And if this R is a subset of A cross B, means if R is a relation from set A to set B, then we also write it as R is a relation from set A to set B. We'll consider one or two examples of this. As in the above example, we have seen the Cartesian product of A and B. So, let us consider some of its subsets. Let R1 be the set which consists of elements x, p and z, q. Then definitely this R1 is a subset of A cross B, and therefore R1 is a relation from set A to set B. Next, let us suppose that R2 is a set which consists of only one element, and that element is x, q. Then again here R2 is a subset of Cartesian product A cross B, therefore R2 is also a relation from set A to set B. Next we will consider R3, and suppose it is the set consisting of elements x, p, x, q, y, p and z, p. Then in this case also we observe that this R3 is a subset of Cartesian product A cross B. Therefore R3 is also a relation from set A to set B. So in this way we have a relation from set A to set B. Now next one will define functions. Suppose that we have the two sets A and B. Let A and B be two sets. Let A and B be two sets. Then a rule or a correspondence. Then a rule or a correspondence. Suppose that rule or correspondence will denote by the letter F. Then a rule or correspondence F under which to each element x, of set A, there corresponds exactly one. There corresponds exactly one element y. Exact one element y of the set B. Is called as a mapping. Or a function. Mapping or a function from set A to set B. And in symbols it is written as F is a mapping from set A to set B. So this is the symbol to denote the mapping. Next, if F is a mapping from set A to set B, then we say that set A is the domain and set B is the codomain of the mapping F. Here in the definition of a function, there are two very important words. Actually, these are two important conditions, and these conditions are: the first condition is to each element x of the set A, and the second condition is there corresponds exactly one element y of the set B. Okay, to each element x of set A, there corresponds exactly one element y of the set B. So these two are very important conditions. So next, let us consider one example of this function. Suppose A is the set, and set A is consisting of three members x, y, z. X, y, z. And we have the another set B, which consists of members A, B, C, D. A, B, C and D. Let us suppose that F is a relation from set A to set B, such that under this relationship F, image of X is C, image of Y is B, and image of Z is A. Okay. Then here we observe that every F is a relation from set A to set B, such that each and every element of set A is related with unique element of set B. X is related with unique element of set B, Y is related with unique element of set B, and Z is related with unique element of set B. So therefore here F is a mapping from set A to set B. So here F is a mapping from set A to set B, and this F can also be written in the form of ordered pair. So F is a set of ordered pairs such that it has x, c. As under the function F, image of x is c. Therefore, first ordered pair is x, c. Then image of y is b. So the next ordered pair will be the y, b. Next, z is related with a, means the next ordered pair will be the z, a. And these are the all ordered pairs. Okay. Again we observe here that the first elements, if we consider from these ordered pairs, then every element of set A appears as the first element of some one ordered pair, and it appears in one and only one ordered pair, which means that both the conditions are satisfied. So therefore F is a mapping from set A to set B. Next one. Now here we observe that the element x of set A has its image C in the set B. So here in this case we have f of x is equal to C, and we say that C is the image of x under the function f, or the value of the function f at x is C. Both are equivalent things. Okay. So we can say that the unique element of B, unique element of set B, which corresponds to an element x of the set A is known as, called as the image, of x, or it is also called as the value, of f, value of function f at the point x, value of f at the point x, and it is denoted by f of x. As we have seen in this example, that here in this case we are having f of x equal to C. Okay, so it is denoted by f of x, and x is called the pre-image. X is called the pre-image of f of x. X is called the pre-image of f of x. Okay. So like such we have image and pre-image under the mapping F. Next one we'll see the range set. Range set of a mapping. If we consider the set of all images, means the elements of codomain B, which are images of some one elements of domain A. Okay, then that set is called as, means it is called as the range set. It is called as the range set. And if F is a mapping from A to B, then the range set of F is denoted by F of A. Okay, it is denoted by F of A. And from this definition, it is clear that the range set is always contained in, means it is a subset of the codomain of the mapping. Range set is always a subset of codomain of that mapping. One important point we'll mention here, that if the range set is equal to the codomain, then we say that the mapping F is onto. Okay, then we say that the mapping F is onto B. Next one is one-to-one. One-to-one mapping. One-to-one mapping. So if F is a mapping from set A to set B, then it is said to be one-to-one if different elements of domain set A, have different images in the codomain set B. Okay, if different elements of domain have the different images in codomain, then we say that mapping is one-to-one. Okay, the same thing can also be said in the symbols as x1 not equal to x2 if this implies f of x1 is not equal to f of x2. Then we say that the mapping is one-to-one, and this should be for all x1, x2 belongs to the set A. Okay, the same thing can also be told in different way as, that is, if f of x1 equal to f of x2, force us to conclude that x1 equal to x2. Okay, if images are same, then the elements are same. This means that if the elements are different, then the images are different. Then we say that the mapping is one-to-one. Next, if we have a mapping which is both one-to-one and onto, then we say that there is a one-to-one correspondence between the domain and codomain. One-to-one correspondence. One-to-one correspondence. If a mapping F from A to B is both one-to-one and onto, then we say that F is a one-to-one correspondence between sets A and B. F is a one-to-one correspondence between sets A and B. Next is the inverse mapping. Inverse mapping or inverse function. If a mapping F from set A to set B is both 1-1 and onto, is both 1-to-1 and onto, then we can define the inverse mapping. Then we can define the inverse mapping F inverse from set B to set A as for each y in B, we can find out the unique element x in A. We can find unique x in A such that f of x is equal to y. Okay, and such element x always exists as the mapping f is 1-to-1 and onto. So such that f of x equal to y. Then we have a mapping f inverse, which is denoted by this symbol, and it is from the set B to A, which is defined by the equation x equal to f inverse of y, and this is for every y belongs to the set B. Okay, so in this way f inverse is defined, and from this definition also it is clear that if f is a one-to-one correspondence between A and B, then f inverse will be also a one-to-one correspondence between A and B. Okay, next one is the composite functions. Composite function. Composite function. See how it is defined. If f is a mapping from set A to set B and g is a mapping from set B to C, if these are two functions, then we can define the composite function. Then we can define the composite function g o f from the set A to C by the equation g o f of x is equal to the g of f of x, and this is for every x belongs to the set A. So like such the composite function is defined. Let us see this by means of drawing a diagram. Suppose this is a set A, we have another set B and one more set C. Okay, if the elements of set A are x, y, z, elements of B are A, B, C, D, and elements of C are suppose P, Q, R. If f is a mapping from set A to set B and g is a mapping from set B to set C, suppose that under the mapping f, image of x is B, and under the mapping G, image of B is suppose R. Okay, next under the mapping f, image of y is suppose A, and under the mapping G, image of A is suppose P. And if image of Z is suppose D under f and image of D is suppose R, this can happen. Okay, so then in this case we can say that what we have f of x is f of x equal to B, and we have G of B is equal to R. So therefore we can say that GOF of X, it is equal to, as per the definition, this is equal to G of F of X. Okay, and G as it is, what is F of X? F of X is B, as we have seen just now. And what is G of B? G of B is R. So this is R, which means that GOF of X is here R. So like such, the composite mapping is defined. Okay. Next one is the identity mapping. Identity mapping. See how this identity mapping is defined. Okay. If we have the set A, then a mapping capital I, which is from the set A to itself, which is defined by I of X is equal to X, and this is for every X belongs to A. Then this I is called, it is called the identity function on the set A. Identity function from A to A means simply identity function on the set A. Like such, we have the identity mapping. Next one, from the definition of the composite mapping, inverse of a function and identity function, it is clear that we have if GOF, this composition, if it is equal to the composition FOG, and if both are the identity mappings, then we can say that G is nothing but it is the F inverse, or this can also be said as F is equal to the G inverse. Like such we have. Next one is the binary operation on a set. Binary operation on a set. See how it is defined. Binary operation. If A is some one set, then the mapping F from A cross A means the Cartesian product of A with itself to the set A itself, then it is called as a binary operation on A. So if F is a mapping from A cross A to A, then we say that F is a binary operation on the set A. For example, if we consider addition on the set of natural numbers, means from n cross n to n, then obviously addition is a binary operation on the set of natural numbers, because if we take any two natural numbers and form its addition, then its addition will be again a natural number. So therefore addition is a binary operation on the set of natural numbers. Next one, multiplication is also a binary operation on the set of natural numbers, because we know that the multiplication of any two natural numbers is again a natural number. But however, subtraction is not a binary operation on the set of natural numbers. Why? Because we know that if we take the subtraction of two natural numbers, then it may be a natural number or may not be a natural number. Therefore, this is not a binary operation on the set of natural numbers. For example, we can say that if we consider 5 minus 8, okay, then 5 minus 8 is minus 3, and this is not a natural number. So similarly, we can say that the division of natural numbers is again not a binary operation, because if we consider the division of two natural numbers, then it may or may not be a natural number. Why? Because if we consider the two natural numbers, as suppose 2 is one natural number and the another natural number is 7, then 2 by 7 is not a natural number. So therefore division is also not binary operation on the set of natural numbers. Like such, we have the binary operation. Next one is the equivalent sets. Equivalent sets. Two sets A and B are said to be equivalent if there is a one-to-one correspondence between them. and in that case means if A and B are equivalent sets, then we write it in symbols as A is equivalent to B, and this symbol is known as the tilde. This symbol in Greek letter, it is called as a tilde. Okay, so if we have two sets A and B such that there is a one-to-one correspondence between them, then we can say that the sets are equivalent sets. And from our knowledge of sets, it is clear that if A and B are two finite sets, then they will be equivalent if and only if they have the same number of elements in them. This is for finite sets only. Next, we will consider the compositions. Compositions. We have two compositions. The first one is the addition composition. Addition composition. If we have a set S, okay, let S be a set. Then, if for each pair of elements A, B belonging to S, if there corresponds a member which we denote by the A plus B in S itself. Okay, if for each pair of elements A and B of the set S, if there corresponds a member A plus B in the set S, then the addition composition is in such a way defined in the set S. Similarly, the multiplication composition is defined in the set S. Multiplication composition. Multiplication composition. If we have the set S, then if for each pair of points A, B of set S, there corresponds a member A into B, which is again in S. This A into B we can write simply as AB belongs to S. Okay, then we say that multiplication composition is there in the set S. So in such a way, addition and multiplication compositions are defined in the set S. Next, algebraic structure we are going to define. Algebraic structure. Algebraic structure. How it is defined? A set is said to possess an algebraic structure if the two compositions of addition and multiplication are defined in the set. Okay, so if we have the set S in which two compositions are defined, the first one is addition and the second one is multiplication. Okay, then we can say that set S possesses the algebraic structure. As we have discussed earlier, it is clear that addition and multiplication, okay, addition and multiplication are defined in the set S that we have discussed some time before. And we have also observed that subtraction and division can be defined as the inverse operations of addition and multiplication respectively. Means how we can define the subtraction and division. So subtraction can be defined as subtraction. It can be defined as the inverse operation of addition. Means the A minus B can also be written in the form A, it's addition with the minus B. Okay, where obviously minus B belongs to the set S. And similarly we have the division. Division. How the division is defined? The division is the inverse of the multiplication. Okay, and it's defined as if we have A by B, where obviously B is not equal to 0. Okay, so A by B, where B is not equal to 0, then this A by B can also be written as A by B is nothing but it is A into 1 upon B. So like such A by B can be expressed. Okay, or this can also be written as A into B inverse. Like such also we can write down. So in this way we have the addition and multiplication compositions on a set. So today we'll stop here and we'll continue in the next class. Thank you.